Welcome to another episode of Golf Parenting 101, the podcast that provides valuable information and guidance to parents of young golfers. With a well-established and highly competitive junior golf development system, combined with a favourable climate and top-quality golf courses, South Africa has produced several great players and continues to do so. One such player is Trevor Immelman, winner of the 2008 US Masters, member of two President's Cup teams in 2005 and 2007, and the international captain in 2022. In this episode, we have a special guest. Trevor Immelman's father, Johan Immelman, will kindly be giving us a peek into the journey of raising a major champion golfer.
I'm thrilled to have Johan here to share his insights and experiences with us. As your son Mark says on his podcast, how's it, Mr. Immelman? Great to have you on Golf Parenting 101.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mark, and thank you for what you are doing. It is a vital service to all golfers out there. And so I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you about golf parenting. And, you know, as we speak about that, my thought was just, you know, it's so easy to be a father or a mother. But to parent a child is a whole new degree. You know, there are many fathers out there and mothers out there, but there are not enough parents out there. And, you know, if you just think about it, mother and father is a noun, but parenting is a verb. It's what you do. So thanks for what you are doing.
Yeah, that is a pleasure. And you raise a very good point there. You know, one of the things with golf parenting, as a coach and looking at it from the outside, I've noticed that for many parents of young golfers, finding that right balance between support and encouragement, you know, and also inadvertently creating undue pressure, that can be a challenge. And in your experience with Trevor, how did you manage to ensure that Trevor felt both motivated to improve his game and that he was able to enjoy the sport without feeling any excessive pressure to perform?
Number one is to understand the fundamentals. And, you know, when I received your message, I thought I would drop Trevor a note and ask him, so you're a parent now, what do you say? And this is what Trevor told me. He said, you can't force them. They need to fall in love with the game. The reason is the sport is so difficult that when adversity eventually strikes, they had better love the game or they will quit. And to which I add is parents don't want their children to fail or to hurt. But as a parent, a golfing parent, you must love them enough to allow them to fail and or hurt. So you can protect, but don't protect too much. But you know what we did is focused on understanding the fundamentals, because fundamentals accelerate success, and excellence is achieved by mastery of the fundamentals. Never forget, though, that the first three letters of fundamentals is fun. You have to have fun, otherwise you lose interest or the passion or the desire. You know, now one fundamental is know your values. What are your morals? You know, what are your values? Why are values so important? Because it helps you make better decisions and better choices. You know, and ours is very simple. It's from Proverbs 1:3. It's do what is right, just and fair in every situation. Just do what is right, just and fair. And you know, you ask what strategy is. We've got a process, and we always say number one is environment. Your environment is crucially important. Is my mom taught me. It's a biblical principle. Bad company corrupts good character, and it does it every time. So who you hang around with and who you hang out with is vitally important. And also your environment. Be cognizant of your environment, where you are, and it's important to absorb that and then to respond to it. Secondly, is events. You know, sorry, I was just going to say on environment. What we did is when Trevor really was a youngster, and he told us what his heart's desire was. We built a little green in the front of our yard, in our front yard, and a bunker. And what we also did is, and we named our house the clubhouse. So he always in that environment of men. That's the clubhouse when friends used to come and visit. It's the clubhouse. Let's go and chip and putt a little bit. So environment is crucially important. Secondly, is events. Is every moment, it's an event that we've got right now, but everything in your life is an event. And make sure that you partake in the right events. I always say, if you come home from work and your child is sitting at the kitchen table with a razor blade dissecting a frog, why do you want to send them for violin lessons? Go and put them in the right environment. Take them to the golf course. Let them meet other golfers. Let them play with other golfers. So it's vitally important, the events. Then the third thing is knowledge. We always said you've got to become knowledgeable about what you want to do. And then results. Everything is results orientated. If there are no results, eventually you're going to say, hey, maybe you should go for the violin lessons. It's not working out. But everything is results oriented. And then, what is your vision? We when he was young, we said, write out your vision, and we actually put the vision on a little business card. And there's a little lapel pin which is an I, and it says, I am, I can, I will. A reminder, and that is vitally important to know what your vision is, because we are told in scriptures that write down your vision plainly so that the one who reads it can run with it. And in the case of anybody that gets discouraged, all I do is, what is your vision? And have you read your vision? Because your vision should be encouraging you. There'll be a lot of discouragement on the way, but your vision will encourage you. Now if you know your vision, you know what you want to be and what you want to become. Then I, as a parent, can help you with your mission. I can help you articulate, what do we need to do? What strategy? What goals? How can we set it? What's the travel plan? What events do you need to take place in? So you can then help somebody. If somebody's got no vision, how do you help them? You can't help them effectively. And then you have to have those values. What are your values, so that every decision and choice that you make along your career path or your journey, what are the values? And ours, as I said, is very simple. Do what is right, do what is just, and do what is fair. So, it says that, and to worry about something is a misuse of your imagination. Don't worry about tomorrow, but to worry is a misuse of this great faculty, imagination that you've got. And the knowledge, but it says that by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. So, and through knowledge its rooms are filled. So wisdom, and it says wisdom is supreme, but in all you're getting, get understanding. So our focus was always understand, get understanding, understand the swing, understand everything about the game. And get knowledge, get knowledge, get knowledge. And there was another principle that we apply, and that is what I refer to it as Colonel John Boyd devised this strategy for the fighter pilots. And it is the OODA loop. And I don't know if you've heard about the OODA loop, but number one is, the OODA is observe. Observe. Always be observant where you are. Look around, know what's happening, but observe, see and listen. And then orient yourself. Position yourself to respond or to react. You're on the golf course, orient yourself. You've observed everything, orient yourself. And then decide, make a choice. And once you've made that choice, act. So it's OODA. Observe, orient, decide, and act. perform. And once it's done, the beauty about golf is it's a redemptive sport, I say, because every time you hit a shot, the next shot you can redeem yourself. But you've got to make the right choices and decisions to redeem yourself more effectively or better.
So there was a lot of, from an early stage, it sounds to me like there was a lot of goal setting and chasing after those goals. Am I right? There's a lot of positivity around that. It sounds to me like you made sure that there was no, it was always positive, no doubt creeping in, anything like that. Eh?
Yeah, well, it's golf. We always say game of life first. So you got to. Life is more important than the golf. Don't let the golf become more important than the life. And if you take life, in the heart of life is if. There are lots of ifs, that if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. Always be mindful in life of the ifs. If I'm obedient, this happens. If I'm disobedient, this will happen. And in the first, you will see in the heart of first is the letter R. And that to us is always a reminder. Life is all about, number one, relationships. Man, it's a relationship with yourself, with your creator, with your parents, with your siblings, with your colleagues, with a golf course, with your golf clubs. Everything in life is relational. Secondly, reminder for us is representation. From the time you open your eyes in the morning, you are representing someone or something. All the time. Until you go and sleep again, you are representing. You're always a representative for yourself, for your family, for your company, for your product, for whatever. But you are in a representative mode. And people observe that. Then the last R of the 3 R's, we always remind ourselves, you need to be effective relationally and representative, you need resources. But most of the people, when we ask, what is the problem? No, we don't have the resources. That's always, no, resources. I said, no. Your problem is not resources. Your problem is resourcefulness. Because if you've got effective relationships and you are representing yourself professionally, then I can go and ask and seek and knock. And you will help me. People will help you. People will help you if you know your vision and you know exactly where you're going and why you're going there and what you need to do. So, those are 3 vital, important things to remember as you journey through your golf career.
Trevor has achieved remarkable success as a professional golfer, including winning the US Masters by 3 shots. From none other than Tiger Woods, in second place there, and he's viewed as by many when Trevor was in his prime as having one of the most technically perfect golf swings in professional golf. Johan, can you share some insights into Trevor's early golf journey and tell us were there key moments when you thought to yourself, or when you looked at Trevor, was there any key moments when you realized, this kid he has what it takes to become a great golfer?
Yeah, it's not so much what we saw as parents, it's what we heard as parents. Is just on that 3 shots. Trevor's first PGA Tour victory was the Western Open, where he also held off Tiger by 3 shots. And that actually catapulted Trevor into the top 15 on the official World Golf Rankings. So he's blessed to have got Tiger by 3 twice. And man, that is an achievement, because Tiger was dominating that period.
That's right.
Tiger was really dominant. So you say, what moment? And I said, it's what we heard. And the key moment to my wife and myself is Trevor was 6 years old, and he walked into the living room. We were sitting in the living room, and he says, Dad, Mom, I got something to tell you. And we said, yep, what is it? And he told us, he said, I'm going to be one of the best golfers in the world. Whoa. And I turned to my wife and I said, June, two things can happen here. Number one, we can laugh at him now, at that statement. But if we laugh at him, we kill his vision right there on the spot. That vision is dead and buried. Or we can choose to believe him. But here's the kicker. If we choose to believe him, not what is he going to do about it, what are we going to do about it? You see, he's told us what he wants to be, what he wants to become. But he doesn't know at that stage how to go about it, what to do, what the mission, what the strategy, what the goals and things are. And that's really when we kicked in, we said, okay, now it's time for us to do certain things correctly. And yes, it was a journey. Not all of them were correct, but that's what we did. I actually started weaning myself of playing golf myself, because it became quite a consuming business to manage tournaments, where to go, when to go, where's the money going to come from, where's the resources going to come from. So yeah, and then you know, getting him to understand the importance of his vision. And every year I used to ask him, why do you want to play golf? And never once did he tell me money. Never once. And sadly, that is where golf has gone. It's becoming more money oriented than achievement, and that wanting to be part and having that success of knowing that you are right up there with the best. So, and the other thing we also focused on, Owen, is we always said, you know, work harder on yourself than you are working on your golf. Because if you believe that you're going to become one of the best in the world, what are you doing about it? Are you working on yourself? That's when we also decided, you know, the best thing, when parents come to me and say, what can we do? They're always expecting us to say, you know, we've got to go to this coach, you've got to go and do that. No. Send them to articulation courses. Send them to somebody who can help them, teach them how to speak, how to be in front of a camera. Because eventually, most people that are very successful, it's what comes out of them, their mouth, that sets that image. You know, and then Trevor always used to say, and this is also a scripture that comes from Proverbs, is your gift will bring you before great men. And then we said, okay, your gift, make your gift your business. If you work on your gift, then you can make that gift your business. I was going to say on that, I can also just say that you know, we always say as well, be sure to be working on your second career while you're busy with your first. Which in Trevor's case, you know, the injuries and whatever happened is, don't get so fixated. You know, what is your next move? What is your passion? You know your passion is golf, so remain in golf. So what else can you do? You know, a very small percentage of aspirant golfers become professional golfers or are successful at professional golf. But what are the other avenues? You can be a photographer, you can be a blogger, you can be a reporter, you can be a commentator, you can be, you know, work with technology, all sorts of things. You can be a representative, but remain in your passion, which is sport, and then you've chosen sport, you've chosen golf. And there's a very good reason for that. I always say there's a very good reason that the good Lord will give your passion sport. He doesn't say golf. Because if he told me, you're a golfer, then if I fail, who am I going to blame? No. I've got a passion for sport, but I choose golf. Not cricket, not rugby.
As a golfing parent, you would have closely monitored Trevor's journey through the years. Can you provide some insight into the various strategies and approaches that you implemented to foster his development in golf? Specifically, how did you manage to strike a balance to ensure he enjoyed a well-rounded childhood while also maintaining his enthusiasm and avoiding the potential for burnout? In golf, it's such a demanding sport.
We never had to tell Trevor to practice. As he says, you've got to love the game so much that you've got to do that. Trevor was very fortunate and blessed to grow up with an older brother, Mark, because he was just in Mark's slipstream. And Mark was always the mentor, the coach. He's always a coach, always the cheerleader. And Trevor is always coachable and teachable with an intense drive to excel. People that are on purpose, they know why they want to do it, when they're going to do it, who they're going to do it with, how they're going to do it. And that sometimes can come across as arrogance. No, that's not arrogance. You've got to be very careful not to just say, oh, he's arrogant. And listen, he got labeled as being arrogant many times, but that wasn't arrogance. That was just he knew what he wanted to be and what he needed to do to become who he wanted to be. And so he also realized that to achieve that, you have to be an apprentice. You have to be a student. You have to be a learner. You have to be a rookie. And you have to do your apprenticeship. That's why a lot of South African golfers, talking about sort of his era, they never went to university. They were apprentices. They took apprenticeship. They went and they applied the game and played the game and learned from the other golfers. I was fortunate to speak with Gary Player once. And Gary, I asked Mr. Player, this is when I was commissioner of the Sunshine Tour, I asked Mr. Player, in your recollection and your looking back on the game, what has had the biggest impact on the game of golf? And he looked at me and he thought for a while and he thought, and he said, the video camera. The video camera. And I thought, wow. He says, because we were guessing, we couldn't capture everything. And then subsequently now, I can remember having to go out to buy a video camera and video it, and there was a special program, and downloading it onto the computer, and computers were new and whatever. Now, a lot of people don't realize, now we have, this is a little Mevo Plus. That's my iPhone. It's smaller than my iPhone. Sorry, this is a little Mevo. This is a Mevo Plus. This gives you more data parameters. But what a lot of people don't know, this technology, the pioneer of data-driven technology in sport is Henry Johnson, a South African. Companies in Stellenbosch. And just so much you can do now with this technology, because now this captures the video. You can do everything. You can send it to your coach right from your phone. You can send it on social media. You can analyze everything right at your fingertips.
Yeah, it's brilliant the way the technology is. If you look at what launch monitors do now and flight scope, it's changed the way we actually coach. It first of all, it changed the way we look at ball flight laws. What we thought was the cause and effect.
Yeah.
Before launch monitors came out, totally different to what we found out.
Yeah.
It's actually made it easier for us to coach and to get the message across. It really made a difference in that regard.
And you know what we observe at FlightScope is that a lot of people don't maximize the capability of the Mevo Plus or the X3 or the Mevo. It can do so much. The first thing I would do with a kid is club gapping. No, and as you're growing, your distances are changing, so you should be doing club gapping on an ongoing basis so that you know how far you hit the ball, because as you would know better than most is proximity to hole is where the shots are made. It's vitally important. But you did ask me about the doubt. And I just want to say a thing about doubt is that obstacles are there to instruct and not to obstruct. And we've always said that. Don't think it's an obstruction. How can I get around it, through it? It's there to instruct me. And from a parent's point of view, I found, this is me personally, that the amateur career was more challenging and stressful than the professional career. Because you're dealing with so much more, you're dealing with administrators, you're dealing with and the tournament, like I'm playing in the Mossel Bay Open this week. And if I do badly, I've got to wait the whole year before I play in the Mossel Bay Open again. Whereas in the professional era, I mean, you choose which tournaments, and next week there's another tournament, the next week there's another tournament. So you haven't got those stresses. But doubt is a costly experience. And the worst case of doubt is what you said there, self-doubt. You know, and most self-doubt is buried in comparison. And you know, there's a scripture that says, don't compare yourself against somebody else. Compare yourself against yourself. What is your vision? What is your goal? What is your mission? Compare yourself against yourself. But we keep on comparing ourselves against other people. And then that self-doubt creeps in. You know, doubt was at the start of the identity crisis of humanity. I mean, Eve doubted. Doubt was sown in her head. Yeah, she was already like God, and he says, but you know, if you eat of the tree, you can become like him. No, I'm already like him. You know, so she doubted, and doubt started right there. So doubt is going to be around forever. But if you have faith and you do not doubt, if you got the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. You know, and we have to know that faith is the substance of things hoped for. You know, hope. If you have no hope, it sickens the heart. You have to have hope. And hopelessness is terrible. I mean, in the world, there's too much hopelessness going on right now. But hope is the anchor of your soul. And your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. Now, and then we also have to hope against hope, because you might hope and the world is telling you otherwise. But no, I'm still hoping, because I know what I want to be, I know what I need to do, and I know where I want to go. So, the battle of the soul is ongoing. And as we know, our soul is your mind, your thinker, your will, your chooser, and your feeling, your emotions, your feeler. And all doubt comes out of your thinker, out of your mind. That's where it resides. Now, all unbelief comes out of your will, your chooser. You choose not to believe. So you have to choose to believe in yourself, to believe in what you're doing is right. And if unbelief creeps in, it has to do with your choices that you are making. You know, there was a man who said, but Lord, I believe, help me with my unbelief. You can have belief, but man, help me with my unbelief. Everything is possible for someone who believes. And we see that time and time again.
Yeah.
And another thing that we sort of worked on in the family is what you think will influence what you believe. What you believe will influence your expectations. Your expectations will influence your attitude. Your attitude will influence your behavior. And your behavior will influence your performance, and that will influence the outcome, the result. And how many times I can remember saying to Trevor, you know what your problem is? After something went wrong or bad, right? I said, you got to change your attitude. But I could never tell him how to change his attitude. Now, what you believe, the power of right believing is so important. But right believing comes from your thinking. What are you thinking? Now, to change your attitude, Just above attitude was expectations, and at the end is results, outcome. So if you've got a bad attitude, all that is the one above. That means my expectations on the outcome is negative, then I'm going to have a bad attitude. If my expectation on the outcome is positive, I've got a great attitude. So what do I need to change? Expectations. But eventually, what am I believing? What am I thinking? Everything goes back to what are you thinking? What are you thinking and what are you believing?
So both Trevor and Mark are currently doing exceptionally well as commentators for CBS in America. And Mark, he's an accomplished golf coach himself, and I'm curious to know about the influence Mark had on Trevor's development as a golfer, and how the two brothers have supported each other's careers over the years.
You know, when there's a 9-year gap between them. So as I said previously, in the beginning, Trevor was very much in Mark's slipstream, and the older brother was king then. But as Trevor grew and became himself and became more successful in what he was doing, that becomes a little bit different. So although there's lots of respect between the two of them, they focus on their own careers. And yes, they do encourage each other, but it's not that slipstream like the young boy anymore. And we said the power of vision. You also got to be very smart who you share your vision with. You just got to go back to Joseph. I mean, he told his vision to his brothers, and what did they do to him? They threw him in a pit. So you got to be. I'm not saying that happened here, but as a family, we all stand together. Everybody, you tell me your vision, and I will help you do it. I can help you strategize. I can help you set goals. I can help you try and get whatever is needed.
Before I continue, as I mentioned earlier, Mark has his own podcast show called On the Mark.
Yep.
And every avid golf nut should listen to his podcast. I mean, he has the who's who of golf on his show every week, and I watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I know it's available on most platforms, but really is a good podcast. Getting back to our topic, any young golfer will inevitably encounter various hurdles on their golf journey. These can range from physical injuries and unexpected setbacks to internal struggles with self-doubt and the dwindling confidence that we spoke about. But needless to say, staying resilient and focused during the tough times is important. Can you recall specific challenges that Trevor faced along the way? And more importantly, how did you both manage to overcome these obstacles? What strategies did you employ as a team to ensure that he rose above these challenges and continued to move forward?
Yeah, we can. One that jumps out at me is he had just started off on the challenge tour, and he was struggling a bit. And all the travel, and with the funding not being there, so you can fly first class and do everything. I mean, you had to go. He was playing in Russia, and he had missed a few cuts, and he phoned home, and my wife was in tears because Trevor was wanting to just come home. That's it. I've had enough of this now. It's cold. I'm not used to this. It's terrible. And he's struggling. But what we did back home is my wife and my daughter and our daughter, they made a flag and they hung it in the front of our house. And the flag was just a scripture, Psalm 24 and 5. And it says the following. All they did is they put a trophy on the flag, and they put Psalm 24 to 5. A lot of people driving past our house must have thought, what are these Immelmans up to now? But what that says is, may he give you the desires of your heart and make your plans succeed. We will shout for joy when you are victorious, and we will lift up our banners in the name of our God. May the Lord grant you all your requests. So that was a reminder for us every night we came home, every time we left, was that banner was flying. Why? In expectation and in hope. And if your child sees as a parent that you are giving up hope, then it's tough. So you know, the best way to encourage, as I said in the beginning, is, what is your vision? Read your vision. Remember what you told us, what you want to be and what you want to become? Go and read it. Get on track again. And the best way to is to gain courage is to encourage other people. Are you encouraging other people?
I love that, and I can now see why Trevor won over so many fans as captain of the International President's Cup team, and I'm talking about American fans as well. You know, the late setback of losing players called jumping
That
ship
was
to
tough.
live brought out a dogged determination in Trevor, and his international team fought hard for him. You could see that.
Yeah.
You know, fans were surprised that it ended up being a much closer match going into the last day than everyone, including myself, had imagined. You know, and that's another testimony to Trevor's upbringing. Mr. Immelman, there's so much value in what you've
Johan.
given us today, and I can't stress enough how interesting this chat has been with you. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on this podcast.
Yeah, listen, I just want to give you a shout out as well for starting this golf parenting podcast. And you know, we wish you lots of success with it, and I hope and trust that parents begin to realize that they've got a home where they can come and listen to some advice and get guidance and help. But I also want to give a shout out to and express my appreciation to institutions like Golf RSA, in particular Johan Rupert and Grant Hepburn. I mean, the work they have done. You know, in our days, when our boys were coming through the system, there was the South African Golf Foundation and there was the South African Golf Association. And I have to give a shout out to the Nomads. But now the work that Golf RSA are doing to see our juniors and our amateurs playing on the world stage and competing on the world stage, it's phenomenal, and it's testament and to the success of South African golfers. If you take, I take Southern Africa because I want to include Nick Price as a South African. There are 8 major winners from South Africa post World War II, and they have won 25 majors collectively. That is more than any other country outside of America. And so we punch way above our weight, South Africa. And testament to the work that everybody in the golf industry in South Africa is doing.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot coming from you, Mr. Immelman, and Golf RSA. They'll really appreciate what you say about them as well. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to provide me and our golf parents with amazing and inspiring thoughts and insights. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I just want to end by saying parenting is a privilege, but it comes with responsibility and accountability. And never forget that our primary business in life is family. You know, when I relocate one day, not going to ask me how successful were you at golf, how successful were you in your business. I'm going to say, what did you do with your family? Primary business is family.
That's a wrap for this week's episode of Golf Parenting 101. I want to thank our guest Johan Immelman and all of you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in. To find out more about my player development coaching program as well as my gap year solution, contact me at owen@bakergolf.co.za. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Until next time, keep supporting your young golfers on their journey to success. I'll see you next week with a brand new podcast. I'm Owen Baker, and I'm happy to help.